Welcome to Roofing Road Trips with Heidi. Explore the roofing industry through the eyes of a long-term professional within the trade. Listen for insights, interviews, and exciting news in the roofing industry today.
Hello, and welcome to another Roofing Road Trips from Roofers Coffee Shop. My name is Heidi Ellsworth, and we're here for a very special podcast today. I have the honor of inviting Monica Vornbrock and Melissa Chapman to visit with me today. We have worked together for so long in the roofing industry, and they have an amazing company, the GLO Group, that we get to talk about today. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excited to be here. Thanks so much, Heidi.
I know. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this. One of my favorite topics, favorite people. This is really fun. So let's start out with some introductions. So Melissa, why don't you start? Introduction, tell us a little bit about you and your history in roofing.
Sure. My name is Melissa Chapman. I am co-founder of the GLO Group, and I have been in the roofing industry longer than I care to admit, but several decades. Anyway, so and I have, kind of worked in multiple capacities within the industry, but mostly in business development and marketing. And I'm so grateful to be part of this industry because it's been such an amazing experience for me, amazing career, wonderful people, great friends. Yeah, it's been awesome.
The best people, the best friends. I agree. I think about our history and the companies we worked together at or kind of worked with each other in different ways. It's been so much fun. And now to hear about this great company is very exciting. And Monica, same thing. You and I have worked together, have done a lot. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your history.
Sure. Well, thank you for having us, Heidi. And so I'm Monica Vornbrock, and I am the other founder of the GLO Group. And so I landed into roofing, kind of like all of us. And I came from advertising and started working with manufacturing in over 15 years ago, about 15 years ago now. And that's actually how I met Melissa. And yeah, I mean, it's such a great industry. I can't echo what Melissa said enough.
I know. We made our best friends. Doesn't seem like when you're actually at home, you're kind of like, oh, all my friends are across the country. It's so
Totally.
nice. I know. So, okay, let's talk about the GLO Group. So inspirational. Such an inspiration to think of. So, let's start out. Monica, tell us about the GLO Group and the history of it.
Sure. So, the GLO Group is a full-service brand engagement firm. And Melissa and I started the company in 2021. And it is a result of many years of love towards marketing and towards communication and creating connections. So it's a project of love, absolutely. We started it because we realized that there was a need in the market. A lot of people, a lot of our customers were investing in all these different marketing tactics, getting all these leads, but their internal team wasn't in sync. So we realized, why not look from the inside out and see what it is that we can do to help these companies have more engaged teams and teams that communicate better, amongst many other things that we do. But
and grow the business.
Yes,
because all those things grow the business. Melissa, such great inspiration on this. Tell us a little bit about what really inspired both you and Monica to start the GLO Group.
Well, we realized, and we have a long history, Monica and I. So, we probably talk more to each other than our spouses, but what we realized was that a lot of our clients, as Monica alluded to, were spending quite a significant amount of money on marketing outreach, trying to connect with their customers or prospects, And so we would, create these amazing campaigns and initiate a lot of, programs. And what was happening is that when the leads came in, they didn't have these, not every company, but often enough that we recognized a pattern. Unfortunately, the infrastructure within the organization was structured in such a way that they could not really act on those opportunities that we were providing to them. So what was happening is, because these organizations were operating in such a siloed way, departments didn't talk to one another. There was no maybe universal way to communicate across the company regarding customers, that it was really impacting their business in a very negative way. So as Monica said, what we decided was, okay, so we look at marketing as a conversation, and you send out a message in hopes to inspire action,
Right.
And so it's the same thing internally, in terms of you're wanting, the organization is trying to send a message to inspire action from its employees so that everyone's aligned. And that's what we help them do.
I think it's brilliant. I just think about the companies I've worked for, that we've worked together in, and how many times was it just out of sync? I mean, you put all this work into a program, and sales and marketing weren't talking, or customer service and marketing weren't talking, or customer service and sales weren't talking. I mean, and don't even go into operations. And so I think really starting there, I loved what you said, Monica, about inside out. I love that anyway. I think that's such a great way to look at things. So let's talk a little bit about some of that transformation that you've seen in the last years, since 2021 when you started. What are some of the transformational changes you've seen in clients? Just some examples to give people things. So Monica, let's start with you.
Sure. So some of the things that we've noticed is once an organization is focused on their culture, right? So their culture is centered around employee growth and developing connections. That translates into more engaged team members, into more productive team members, into more innovative employees, right? Because of that, people are happier. So higher employee morale, higher retention rates. And then that also in turn is reflected in the customer experience, right? So, the customer feels more connected to the brand because it feels more connected to employees that are connected to that brand. And then in turn, you're more likely to turn these both employees and customers into brand loyalists. Brings you more referrals, brings you, that's kind of some of the ways that we've seen how it impacts the bottom line.
It kind of creates its own energy, right? It's like they say today, it goes viral. And I think, Melissa, share some of what you've seen too on just how that getting that sync. I love how you say that, bringing the engagement together all the way from the customer to the employees and everywhere in between has created some of these transformational moments.
Yeah. So, when that alignment is created internally, and when everyone is moving in the same direction at the same pace, the result creates obviously a lot of change. It allows you the opportunity to look at processes that may be needed, or processes that aren't working. It allows you to also look at, different styles of communication. Do you have the right people in the right positions? So as an example, we had one client that was they were a virtual setting, and so there were people all over the country, or all over the world. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and so they were very siloed. So the workshop that we did with them would really help them kind of come together, align with what the organizational goals are, and make sure that their personal goals are aligned with that as well. So it gives an opportunity to kind of create synergy. Another example is we had a client that had multiple locations, and while on one hand, they operated a autonomously in terms, and on one hand, that makes sense from a business
Mhm.
perspective because you have a different market, you have a different sales force, you have different needs, different weather. But but on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily work because it does create um, a little bit of an us versus them mentality, and it doesn't really foster connection and feeling like being part of something bigger. So our workshops really help them kind of become more aligned from all their locations, so that they were all aligned with the overall organizational goals and still meeting their market needs, but everyone were more connected. They created more in-person events. They created a platform where everyone could connect online
Right.
together. So those kinds of things really kind of help create transformational change for companies.
Well, and it's so different now than it was. I mean, we use Teams, right? And Teams is like, okay, treat it like it's your office. Go down, knock on the door, and go talk to somebody. I think there's so much opportunity to kind of break some of those silos now in ways that really, you were scared to walk down the hall and knock on that door, but now I don't know. There's just a little bit, especially once you get this communication.
Well, it's that. And you also look at, generationally, how
Hmm.
people communicate is very different.
Yeah.
And so, like, learning, how to read digital body language, in addition
Yes.
to in person body language. I
Yeah.
mean, emojis, and, things that, we like, okay, 10 years ago, this was not even part of the conversation, right? But,
Right.
I mean, it is now. So being mindful of, understanding that different age groups communicate differently is also real important, especially as this industry, evolves and we have a new wave of younger entrepreneurs entering into the market. It's and a younger workforce. I mean, it's important to really understand the power of communication.
It is.
And also what inspires them and what makes them feel valued, because
Yeah.
generationally those two things are very different for every generation.
Mhm.
The upcoming generation really needs to feel valued, and what they value or what they consider feeling valued is totally different from the
Yeah.
previous generations. So we're able to explore that, and we're able to identify if there is a need to address those
Yeah.
issues.
And help people find that communication. Like, how do they talk about it? Sometimes it's just like, "Oh, I can't even talk about this young
Right.
whippersnapper," right?
Exactly.
No, you need to.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because part of our workshops, we kind of teach a vernacular. We teach a new language to use to help communicate in a way that doesn't feel confrontational, doesn't feel, icky.
Yeah.
It feels like, okay, I'm having a normal conversation with someone. But ultimately, the healthier the organization, not just from employee morale and employee, retention and engagement, but it's also, having the right processes in place and, holding one another accountable. Those kinds of things are really important. But those healthy organizations are the ones that are going to outlast. They're going to out survive everybody else, and that's the sustainable model,
Right.
that's the reality.
It is. It is. And everything's changing, and I'm always like, you got to keep up. But one of the things I love is that you are bringing all of this into a very relatable style. And I know you have the GLOffect method. So, Melissa, talk a little bit about that.
So it's the GLOffect method.
Oh, I said it wrong. GLOffect.
That's
There you
okay.
go.
You don't know. So many people get it wrong. It's okay.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a
Our
word that we
accountant
made
gets it
up.
wrong
So,
every time.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the GLOFAC method really is a process. It provides insight on people, your performance of the organization, its ability for transformation. And like I said earlier, I mean, there's a ton of research out there that says the healthier the organization, the happier the employees, the more innovative the work product, the more profitable. and financially sustainable the company is. So we really address a variety of challenges that leaders and teams and organizations face that affect their day-to-day performance, as well as the overall health. So, we have workshops and programs that offer support and guidance to organizations, kind of helping them shift mindsets towards growth and implementing sustainable change. And then we can customize our programs. We do have 4 categories, if you will, or that can be taken standalone or together. But all about effective communication for teams, growth mindset, purpose and culture transformation, leadership development, because we do have certified professional coaches on staff that can offer professional coaching, as well as organizational health alignment and change initiative implementation. So not only do we do the workshop, we help organizations actually implement transformational change. As an example, we have one client right now, we're helping them implement an ESG, environmental social governance program, into their organization. So,
Wow.
yeah, but it's amazing. It's so fulfilling and it's so much fun. We have a great time doing it.
So, well, and when you think about it, and Monica, maybe you can talk about this. I mean, what Melissa was talking about with all the people who work for you or work with you, I should say, and all being trained as coaches and bringing all this. So you really can take this methodology and apply it across many areas. I mean, but that's a lot. I mean, that's to focus in on each company. How is that working? How does it work for you?
Well, it's like Melissa said, we have a great team. And everyone is I wouldn't say specialized, but everybody has like a niche, right? Everybody has a passion, and they're all certified in facilitating, coaching, or events and experiences accordingly, depending on the parts of the areas of work that they cover. But they all are very, very passionate about what we believe in, which is implementing that change, creating those elevated connections, creating that passion again from the inside out, right? It's whether they're connecting people to their client, customers, organizations with their clients, whether they're just doing it an employee retreat, a team retreat. So I feel like that's what has helped us be successful and reach our clients and implement change, is that we have been very lucky to have to put together such a great team that works with us day in and day out.
Well, it starts with you two.
Like they are hard workers and they love what they do. So we're like, go on vacation, go turn off the phone.
Please. Okay. So you're talking about all these events and workshops and experiences. So I'm curious, being a business owner myself, is what have you seen with the company's bottom lines? So Melissa.
Yeah. So, well, there are 2 different things that we've seen. One is we've seen organizations actually reposition people. So, they'll move one person into one role, and because of what came from the workshop, they realized, okay, we would be better suited if we kind of shift our organization's structure.
Cool.
So that has been one outcome. But the other outcome is we have one customer or one client that their profitability went up significantly just because of improving their communication. There have been studies. I think the last statistic I read was like 20% poor communication is the reason for 20% of lost sales. So if you think about that for a minute, that's huge. That's kind of big. And that's something that can be fixed. And imagine if you fix that really shifts
right away.
That creates transformation. If it's poor communication that is, resulting in a 20% loss in sales, I mean, gosh, just doing that alone would be a game changer. But there's direct results in terms of increased revenue and increased profitability. And that's probably more important. I mean, yes, you want to grow your revenue, but the profitability is really important. Fewer mistakes because better communication. fewer missed opportunities. It's a trickle effect, but it really does, it shows up on the bottom line.
Yeah. And what is some of the feedback that you've received, not just from the ownership, but from the employees? So, Monica, that some of the feedback you've heard from them.
Well, wow, some of the things that we've identified, right, that we've been that they have shared with us have been because we create this setting, right, where people can communicate openly, where they feel safe.
Yeah.
They are able to talk about the things in the processes or platforms that are not working. So when they're able to speak to those things openly, it creates a whole big picture for management, for every part of like the whole process, right? They're able to see, okay, what's not working. I did not know that that wasn't working for you. So we've invested in this platform, and that platform doesn't work for half of the company. But nobody said anything because they were scared.
Yeah.
So now they feel safe. They know that they're not going to be any repercussions. This is a safe space.
Mhm.
And being able to open up that communication flow just allows for that, for those kinds of things to be discovered. And a lot of people have come to us and said that if we didn't have this, if we weren't in this workshop, we wouldn't have been able to speak our mind and feel safe about it, or even meet each other. A lot of people meet, they had never seen each other, worked together for years, and they've never been
Wow.
in the same place at the same time because they're working in different locations. So it's really rewarding to see that and to hear it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Why we love what we do.
When you think about just customer satisfaction and how hard it is to recruit people, that kind of retention, just by letting them speak and figure things out together, that's huge.
Mhm.
Yeah, it definitely sends a message of your opinion matters, your voice
Mhm.
matters. And like I said, we stay with clients beyond the workshop, and we help them implement the changes that they identify as important to them. And so that they're not alone, and so that we can also hold them accountable, though. And then in turn, those employees don't feel like, well,
Yeah.
okay, we just shared everything and nothing happened. So,
Right.
Which
so,
that
yeah.
has happened so many times in my career where you have, and I've been even guilty of it. You go to a workshop or you go to some kind of class, you have all these ideas, you take all these notes and everything's down there. And then you get back and you're swamped and you're not getting it done. So for you to be there to help that accountability, but also that support and bring them through, that is critical.
Absolutely, it is critical. And that's only one side of our business, because we have another side of our business too that we haven't even talked
Well, and that's what my next question. Now I'm kind of going, well, maybe I shouldn't be asking this question, but is how are you different from marketing firms? Which I'm like, okay, you're totally different. But now let's talk about the other side of that business. So Melissa, tell us about it.
So yeah, we kind of we have two areas of expertise. We've got the one that concentrates on people and culture, that what we've been talking about, but then we also have an area that concentrates on meetings and events. We focus on creating experiential and engaging connections. And we produce like a lot of meaningful events for from corporate retreats to 800 plus attendee user conferences. We kind of handle it all, soup to nuts, from sourcing venues and speakers to content consultation and event production. What's really important is, oftentimes, in fact, I just wrote an article about, like, no more boring meetings, please.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you're having a meeting of 10 people in a conference room or on Zoom or whatever, it doesn't have to be boring. You should always be going into it with, being really aligned with the company core values, and also being very intentional. And so we create intention for people that may not have it, may not understand how to create it. So, so that everyone walks away feeling that much more connected to that brand. And so, like I said, it powers positive change. It really creates belief and alignment, and it is transformational in many, many ways for organizations. So
Yeah. Now, what about, because we just started this whole thing with talking about marketing and lead generation and all of that. So Is that something you're still doing, or is that part of kind of that implementation after you kind of get the culture aligned? Monica, how's that work?
So, so like when you asked, were we like, how are we different from a marketing firm? And that is actually how we are different, right? We are a hybrid model because we do look at the organizational health, the mindsets of the team, their connections with their customers, right? We do a lot more than, we're not the company you come to if you want a brochure or an email campaign. Having said that, we do have the infrastructure to support those initiatives if that's what's needed, right? If for an experiential event, you need to establish a communications strategy, we have the skills, we have the staff, we have the team to be able to do that. But that is not what we want you to come to us with. We want you to be able to come to us understanding that there is a fit in the culture and then the way that you work as a company. We want to work with companies that believe in their people, that believe in creating and effectuating change, and believe in that cultural transformation, the social responsibility initiatives. Those are the companies that, like Melissa said, they withstand ups and downs and they continue to grow. So we want that. And that's, again, because we look at marketing as more than just a conversation, we want to take that conversation into like long-lasting, sustainable connections. And then, the base of that is an aligned vision internally, so that then you can inspire action externally. So that's kind of.
Yeah. What I love is you guys have turned it upside down. You totally have turned it upside down from the way we used to think about things like, oh, I need a brochure, to you totally turned it upside down to, why do you need a brochure? And is that brochure ever going to work? I feel similar actually about Roofer's Coffee Shop, turning something very traditional upside down. So you guys just make me smile. I love it. I think it's so cool. And
so much more fun to be innovative, right?
It is fun to be innovative. Even when people look at you like you're a little crazy, it's still fun.
Well, but that's kind of, so just like, we're different. That's kind of what we focus on with our clients is, we want to, we want people to lean into their differences. We want companies to lean into their differences, because that's when the magic happens.
Right.
So, that's where we focus. So to your, we could do it, a transactional marketing or, typical whatever, but that's not really where the value comes from working with us. The value really comes from really being intentional about where you want your business to go and how you want to get there.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And here's the other thing I love, because we are getting to the end of our podcast here, but we've got to talk about WBENC and the fact that you are a women-owned business, you're certified. So Melissa, start out. I mean, when you told me, I was just like, oh, I've got to do that. And there's so many women out there who think I've got to do that. So tell us what this means to your business and kind of that journey to get certified.
Well, let me tell you, it wasn't an easy journey, but I'm so glad we did it. And, we're really excited about it. I mean, it's the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. So we're a women business enterprise. And so what that means for us is that, when there are organizations that are committed to partnering with organizations that represent a diverse group, we fit that bill in terms of, for any kind of DEI initiative that, like a certain percentage of your business partners have to be, whatever, if certain companies mandate that, or that's part of their objectives. We meet that need. But also for us, it gives us access to incredible leaders and, other entities that are really supportive of women business development and empowering women as leaders. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah. Congratulations. It's a big deal.
Thank you.
I'm just
Thank
so
you.
excited for you. So, Monica, I'm going to bring it to you on the companies that are out there, roofing or even beyond, who are listening to this podcast, who are interested in getting involved in having this cultural change. How do they get a hold of you? Kind of what are the steps?
All right. So the quickest way to get a hold of us, it's emailing us at letschat@glogroup.com. That comes to a group of a team in the company.
Yeah.
You can also email Melissa, and that's melissa@glogroup.com, or me, Monica, and monica@glogroup.com. And that's GLO, no W.
No
So,
W. Yeah.
we glow just as bright.
Yeah.
Or we also you could call us at 855 GLO today. Today.
Oh, pretty clever. I like it. And all of these numbers, all these emails are on your directory on Roofers Coffee Shop too. So if you can't remember this, or you're not replaying the podcast a bunch of times to write this down, just go on the directory at Roofers Coffee Shop. You can find this all, or at your website, which is
GLOgroup.com.
Yeah, I figured that one. You know what? We got to do this again. I got to hear more about the transformation that you are enacting, the people, because I just know this is, already you're working globally. So congratulations again. And thank you so much for sharing all this with me on the podcast. This has just been so special.
Thank you, Heidi. Thanks so much for including us. And we were just so happy to be here. So thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank all of you for listening. Please go to the GLO Group directory on Roofers Coffee Shop. Check it out. There's some great videos. There's great information. It can transform your company. So whether you're a contractor, distributor, manufacturer, or anyone else, this is for everyone. So check it out. Also check out all of our podcasts under the Read, Listen, Watch initiative under Roofing Road Trips and on your favorite podcast channel. Be sure to subscribe and set your notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be seeing you next time on Roofing Road Trips.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a review. Thanks for listening. This has been Roofing Road Trips with Heidi from therooferscoffeeshop.com.